So I like having 3 paintings going on at the same time, because then I can always walk away from one. Heaven forbid I give up the 2 cents worth of white I had on my brush, you know? I just gotta stick it on the painting, but there's no place to stick it on my painting. Where am I gonna stick it? Go start a new painting and use that paint on the new painting. This is such a light value that right now, if I said, put your lights in, they're hardly gonna show, aren't they? Let's see what I'm saying. Oh, I said I wanted to do wispies. Fan clouds are cumulus nimbus clouds that the top edges have been blown off and they create little fan pieces off there, and we've had some of those lately. And no, I did not drive with my camera in the dashboard taking pictures as I drove. Somebody was showing some picture of a cat laying in the front of their dashboard as they drove down the freeway, and the cat's laying, and they're videoing the whole time, and they're holding the video. I'm going, okay, you just drove for 30 seconds with the camera, and how you were driving. You know, someone else was helping you drive. So in this case right now, since it's such a light value, adding the white didn't make much of a statement. So this is where I would come in and let's get that darker value in here right off the bat. Phthalo blue is the answer first off. Right off, just go straight for phthalo blue. I'm going to do a little more water just because I want to make sure it stays moist. If you do phthalo blue straight out of a tube, it's pretty darn dark. You can add a little bit of purple to it to make it a little bit darker up there.
That's a perfect match.
Now, most of you guys, I have a problem with you when you start out with a canvas and you go, okay, I'm going to do a sky, right in the phthalo blue. Generally speaking, most of the skies, especially in the Seattle area, have got a little more moisture to them. They're 95% white and a little bit of blue. That is the average color of the beginning of a sky, not that value. So think 1% color to start out with on your skies if you're going to do a soft suggested sky. If you squint your eyes in your photograph and the sky is the lightest value of your painting, you're definitely going to start out with a light color. Even if you say, well, I stuck my finger in the blue and now I got this and now I'm trying to blend it and I'm still going to get, you know, something about this color, 99% of the time you're not even going to have that much blue in a regular Seattle / misty kind of Alaskan day. So be careful of too much blue. Now since this is boy, they didn't want to turn the air conditioning up, did they?
No, there's nobody down there.
What?
We're alone. We're all alone.
There's a guy here somewhere. He opened the door for us. He couldn't have left us here.
There's a girl there too, because they left the back door
Unlocked? There's got to be somebody. Okay. Well, everybody, take your shirts off. Is this when you're afraid to speak in public? Imagine the public nude, and then you don't feel quite so uncomfortable. Okay, you guys all take your clothes down. It's a good thing you can't see really well, sir. What he's really saying is, oh my God, please don't.
I still have a good memory.
Okay. Values. We've got the lights and the darks established so that we kind of know where we're going with our piece, and it looks like we're kind of dark. And that is, I have forgotten lately in my practicing of this, you really do need what made the thunder head occur. So either it's really dark up here and it's going to happen, or it's creeping in from below and you've got dark storm clouds. So those values are really important. If you don't have black and you're just trying to darken something up, taking your dark green with your dark purple will make just as much of a lovely dark as anything else without using black. If you have sunlight hitting that black area, it'll be a little bit warmer, ready, burgundy-ish. So thinking like yesterday where we have just a smidgen of a start of a canvas. We do not have to have it all the way done. We're just trying to get it blocked in so that we can come back and do a second layer. I could walk away from this piece right now and be just fine. Come back later on, re-wet it out if I wanted to. If you're in the mood to keep noodling, you can, but you're probably going to have to dampen out some areas to keep it wet. So don't try to do the whole thing. You know, stop your hard edges wherever you can. Get them softly blended. I recently did a large mural in a room, and they pre-painted the room a blue color, and I just came in with 7 shades of white, and it was so fun because I was using my hands and a rag and a roller pad and just kind of like, again, had a fun time. Came back and tried to do a small version of the painting, and I thought, this is just not doing it for me. So you might find you are, movement artist, a
Gesture.
painting. Gotta have your whole body into it, kind of a thing. Okay, so you have soft edges, you can blend, you can get smaller brushes and just noodle section by section. Trying to keep into, we got yellows and oranges going on here now. I'll throw some of those in. White, okay. So here is a way to just literally work it piece by piece if you have a large enough chunk that makes it exciting enough to want to work it piece by piece. I'm going to work into a couple different versions of skies here shortly. Yellow, I'm trying to introduce some colors so you have a little more to see here. If you can, try not to copy someone else's painting photograph exactly as it is. Be inspired by it, do your own. Document, if you copied so-and-so's painting, label it, this is a study of so-and-so's painting that I was inspired by. Change it as much as you can to make it your own. And don't stick it on the internet in the same town that they're selling their artwork in. Okay.
Somehow it never turns out like theirs anyhow.
It never does. You know, 99% of the time my stuff doesn't. Okay, so that, you know, you can just noodle it to death and keep working it. So yes, clouds, ooh, I love drippies. I don't like those. It's really interesting. I did a whole body of stuff that had some more drips in it, and people kind of go, you know, I really just don't like your drips. Quit doing it. A year later, somebody says, where's those drippy paintings? I really like those.
Can't please everybody.
Make everybody happy. All right. So, yep, flung purple across the room somehow. If you do have an orange surface down, you are going to find you'll need a little bit more paint to cover that darker color. So if you say, I have a really thin blue and it's really thin and watery and it doesn't cover and you see, still seeing orange through it, get thicker paint. Oh, it's this thing. There we go. Sorry. Little noises become irritating. Not quite wet enough. See, we're still seeing dry edge. I want to get softer edges going. Acrylics dry so fast that you really cannot do clouds without having a damp surface on the area that you're working in. So don't feel bad if it got dry and you're so fast, oh, I just couldn't keep up with this, like just wet it out. Just so you need thicker paint. If you do thin paint, I'm gonna do a thin section. How come I didn't get the same look you did? Too much water, need more paint. Get the paint on there.
Now, in those places that are already orange.
If you can leave them, especially if you have an orangey section of clouds.
If you did the thin there, I see the little orange coming through, you'd want to leave that?
Some of that, depending on what you like, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I'm trying to get oranges. I'm halfway in between my orange and my purple. I'm trying to get. So you're going to have to, if you want the wispy, windy pieces, they're going to have to go in while it's wet. You're going to have to blend it. Excuse me, I have a ridge up here. You won't be able to do this when it's dry. You also will not be able to get back here and match this color 20 minutes from now. Acrylic's dry 30% darker than what you put down, so it's kind of sort of a hit and miss sometimes on the most important areas that you might not be able to get back and match a color that you meant to get before. The bigger the brush, the faster you can cover something. So I had a 1-inch brush earlier, now I'm doing a 1/2 inch, so I'm having to do a whole lot more work to get a big area covered. Be aware if you're chasing spots, you can't get it done fast enough, get a bigger brush in there. We humans have a tendency to make everything even. If I gave you a stand of birch trees and they were like dun dun dun, space, dun dun, you're gonna go and make picket fence. It's just what we humans do. So until you train yourself to not go 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, be aware of the fact that clouds rarely have anything that is the same repeatedly in the same direction. There's going to be a variation of it going a different direction. So I'm confused on where to go with the rest of my piece. I'm just going to stop. Let's get the dark guy in here. I can walk away from it, come back, and re-wet it out again and do some more stuff. So you don't ever have to get it all done at once. Not even possible with acrylics in clouds. I did recently tackle a series of sky images using acrylics. That was cool. You didn't have to wait for it to, I mean, it just stayed wet for 3 days. You can come back and smudge
No,
something.
you
just
used
like-
oil.
Used
You said-
oil.
Okay.
So yeah, you know, 3 days from now, I got to come back here and go, oh, look at that. I can softly blend my whites. That was fun. But